Welcome to Hate to Wait, where two lifelong dieters talk about their current struggles with weight loss. Diets, we've tried them all. We are not doctors. We don't play them on TV or on this podcast. Join our journey because misery loves company. Hello, John.
Hello, Emily.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Is it?
It is. Well, when we're recording, when everyone else is listening, it is no longer Valentine's Day. And hopefully we've all stayed away from the chocolate. My husband surprised me this morning with a big heart-shaped box of chocolate. So I was like,
what is wrong with him?
Oh, I'm not mad at all.
No, I understand that. Okay.
This is also Shark Week, so I'm perfectly happy getting those chocolates.
Okay. All right.
It's like he gave them to me for Shark Week, regardless of Valentine's Day.
You know what? He knows what he's doing. He knows his woman, and that's fantastic. Okay.
He does.
So let's talk about the made-up day, which is Valentine's Day, just to sell chocolate, flowers, cards, and all other kind of nonsense, and for restaurants to overprice their food for one day.
Well, all the capitalism type stuff, that's not great. But I do love the idea of Valentine's Day. Like, there's just a little bit something extra in the air. People are wearing pink and they're smiling a bit more and blushing. And I don't know, I think it's very sweet. And you know what? It's awesome for kids. The kids really like Valentine's Day.
Really? Because I remember being a kid and being, it was traumatic because they would come in and you would get the Valentines. They would all, and like everybody would get a Valentine. Like I had like two. I was like Charlie Brown. I was like, everybody got a Valentine. I got a rock.
No, well now I think there's a rule, like everybody in the class gets a Valentine and they actually send lists home to, no, that's a good thing. Everybody should get a Valentine.
Yeah, but it's fake. It's all fake. The whole thing is fake.
Yeah, well, it's turned fake. I think the idea of it before all the corporate greed is nice. I think it is nice to celebrate those you love.
I agree. But why do we need to do it on like this one day? Okay, maybe it's the day you double down and do something extra special nice.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I get that.
And I think it's a nice reminder because, I mean, if we had it like, well, we're supposed to love people every day. It's like there's some days I can't get up the energy to really like show my love because I'm exhausted or I'm in a bad mood or I don't know, somebody looked at me the wrong way.
Right. I'm in a funk.
Yeah.
Yes. I do understand that. So that being said, I did try to send Samantha like some Sherry's berries, those chocolate covered strawberries.
Those are good.
Yeah. They don't go to Canada. I can't get them to go to Canada.
Oh.
And I was like really, really upset. And it's really weird because there's like a lot of things here that don't go to Canada. And I was like, it's Canada. It's not like I'm sending them to Ireland or something like that where they got to get on a boat. It's just across the border. Anyhow, I'm not as much a fan of Valentine's Day as you are. Valentine's Day. Yes.
Yeah, I think having kids really helped. And also I realized I've been very bitter about Valentine's ever since I was in my 20s when I was single and loving it. And I was just like you. I was like, this holiday, I don't need this holiday. And then I'm like, no, you know what? I have a lot of love in my life. Like I need to stop going on a crusade against Valentine's Day just because I'm single or my friends are single. It's like, no, I'm perfectly happy knowing that there's love out there and knowing that other people are loved and not even a romantic love. It could be, again, love for kids and just showing your love to people. That's what I like. It's like a holiday and there's food. There's a little bit of presents, but really, like, if you just get something a little bit heartfelt or an inside joke, you should be pretty good to go. Last night, actually, my husband, I don't know why, we were playing video games, and he starts doing this live performance almost of reading REM's lyrics to It's the End of the World as We Know It. And I was like, this is the modern day equivalent of you reading poetry to me. So I guess I need to take this as romantic, even though you're just trying to be a derp. Like,
well, he's trying. He's trying.
It's very cute.
We're not good at it.
It's so cute.
Yeah. So, well, good. Way to go. It's a great thing to do. I probably should be better at it.
You're fine.
So it is Shark Week. What else is going on? How was your week besides the fact that
It's been Shark Week. It's been tough. I was so excited, not to get into the weigh-in yet, but I was so excited last week because I saw that new second number. That second number is gone as soon as Shark Week came. I knew I was saying goodbye to that. I was like, it's at a 9.8. That's going away. And I'm still like, oh, it'll come back. At least I saw it. And that was really important for me to see that number because I couldn't, in my head, picture getting on the scale and seeing that number. It was really hard for me to actually picture myself getting on the scale and seeing that. Anytime I'm in a new sort of 10 with weight loss, so if the second number is, whatever the second number is, that's my 10. Whenever I'm in one of those, it's easy for me to see the weight go down and see it in my head and then make it happen. But as soon as it gets to a 1 or a 0, I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to change 2 numbers when it goes down. And it's really hard for me to picture that. And it's really hard for me to almost get over that hump. And that's like the hardest part of losing weight is getting to that 1 or 0 and getting down to the next 10. Because that's a milestone for me, is seeing that second number change.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I am also part of the show Brilliant Observations. And this episode that come out this week, one of my co-hosts, Melissa, was talking about the scale. And Melissa is very, very thin. So she has a thing where she gets on the scale, and before she gets on the scale, she has a number in her head. And if that number is not, if she steps on the scale and it's over the number in her head, she's like, well, okay, I can't have dessert, or I can't have this. And I just got to go back to that whole thing. Like, I do not step on the scale all week long because what it does, it just makes me do things that I shouldn't be doing. It makes me cheat. And when I say cheat, it makes me cheat. Like, if I don't drink water for 2 days, I'll lose 2 pounds of water, but I'm not losing 2 pounds of fat. The scale, when I come in here for the weigh-in, I'm like, hey, look, I lost 2 pounds. But then I go and I drink 3 glasses of water and it's right back. It's right back on. So I stopped doing that. And I'm just saying, listen, the scale is the scale. I don't know if I don't want it to define me. It's just a measurement of mass.
Yeah. And I think it's weird. I feel like I still struggle with that mindset. I'm not as bad about the scale defining me, at least. If the scale's up, I try to figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, though, that's what'll really irk me. Is like, well, why is the scale up? Maybe it's a hormonal thing. And then the day when it's up, I have to put it into perspective. Like, this is just one day. This doesn't mean I get to throw everything away and go up again. And it's really nice to have this weekly check-in, because at least if I do that, I know if I do that for 1 or 2 days, I still have to come and answer to it and come in the group and go live and talk to you and put out a show to hundreds of people and say that. And it weighs on my mind a lot. I think the number of people listening is more important to me than the number of people on the scale of just, no, these people are looking for something. They're looking for inspiration, or maybe even failures, or at least learning how to work through failures. And I think that's something that we bring to the table because, again, we're not experts on weight loss. We're trying really hard.
We certainly aren't experts. So right now, I'm in the throes of sugar again. For the longest time, I really kind of had sugar out of my life. And I'm not even sure what happened, to be quite honest with you. But I crave sugar. I was going to say like a fat kid craves cake, but that's really not really the good thing to say. It's just, I have a really bad sugar craving, and I'm having a hard time getting through that right now. And even yesterday, I was like, okay, listen, no more sugar. And it didn't work. So I'm fighting that. But then the other thing that I'm fighting is just an overall funk that I just can't see. I've been fighting this now for 3 weeks. I was hoping it was getting better. It's not. It's getting worse. I'm trying to do different things to kind of get out of it. Like, I need a change. So what do I do? I take this studio that I have here, and on Saturday, I ripped everything out. Every cable, I unwired every piece of equipment. I moved monitors. I moved mixers. I rewired everything. I reconfigured everything. And afterwards, I was like, I like this. And then I went behind it, and it's like if I took my steering wheel and then took it and then made it go backwards. So every time I turned right, it went left. And that's how I feel right now, because every time I go to grab something, I screw something up. I was telling Emily before I come on here, I have a a thing to play sound effects. And if I hit a key on my keyboard, it'll fire a sound effect. Well, I don't normally do that. I do it by the mouse. So I have a laptop in front of me that I'm recording on and this big computer on the side of me, which we do. So this morning I'm sitting there and I went to type and I typed on the other keyboard and I hit this key and it went, doo-doo. And it scared me. I was like, was she here already?
Doo-doo. Yes, that's how I announce myself now. I walk into places and just go, doo-doo.
And everyone, oh, Emily's here. Right. So I'm having an issue with this. And we had a new member come on. Her name's Amanda. And she came on and she told us her story where, she was having great success. And
this is how you come into a group.
Right. She's like, hey, this is what's going on. And she told us how she had success. And now she's really struggling. And that, from listening to us, she has ADD and ADHD. And
or she's looking into it, which is so awesome. That's one of the things I heard about ADHD on a podcast as well. I heard about it, about adults having ADHD, and I was never tested for it as a kid. And when I finally did get tested, I was in my 30s, and the doctor was like, yeah, it doesn't really show up in girls as much when they're younger because they internalize it. And we're seeing a lot more cases now of women coming and realizing that they've been dealing with this their whole lives, but because they don't have the hyperactivity, they weren't off the walls or anything, it was all kind of in their heads. Not to say it's in their heads made up. I mean, it was more internal, and they took it and tried to deal with it themselves for so long. They're seeing it now. They're seeing it come out now in a lot of women.
Yeah. And like right now, because I'm wrestling with this, it feels like failure. It just feels like everything I do is failing. And not only just the diet thing, but just everything that's going on as far as I just don't have a taste for anything.
That's tough.
Yeah, editing, I can't. It's like I would rather do anything. Like I'm listening to something, and the whole time I'm just doing my editing, and now the whole time I'm like I would do anything if this person would shut up for 5 minutes. That's horrible. You know what I mean? And everything aggravates me.
I'll go behind the curtain of podcast editors for a minute. But do you ever get to when the host says, all right, here's the last question before we wrap up, and you just heave this sigh of relief? I'm just like,
every time. Or they'll do, all right, this is my last question. And I have a thing where it tells me where I'm at.
Yeah.
So she says, it's an hour-long interview. And she goes, okay, this is my last question. I look down and I say, it says 46 minutes. And I look up and the file is an hour. I'm like, this is going to take 15 minutes? This better be one hell of a question.
The nice thing is, like, at least for the most part, I love listening to my clients' podcasts. So that's always nice for me.
Yeah. And again, I love listening to podcasts, but even I've lost my taste for podcasts right now. So I'm in a funk. I don't know what to do. I don't want to go try another medication. I've been on them before. They make me numb where I don't feel anything. I don't feel any highs. I don't feel any lows. I'm like cruising at mid-altitude. Or they make me I'm just going to say it, they just give me suicidal tendencies. And that's no good.
No.
That's horrible. So I've tried, so I've tried 2 or 3 of them, and they just don't work for me. I don't know what it is with my brain chemistry.
So that's something, okay, so suicide, that's something you reach out to an expert about.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
yes.
I'm giving you that assignment. I'm making you, if you're going to say that on a podcast.
No, I'm not having them now. I've had them in the past being on medications, and I went in.
Oh, okay.
And I went in and I said, and when I was in the elevator business, that was a bad thing because I'd be sitting on top of an elevator and I said, if I just step off here, all this will go away. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. So then I went in to the doctor and I said, yeah, we got to get me off of this because this isn't good. And they're like, yeah, okay, we're going to wean you off. And then you need to tell, you need to know that you got to keep telling yourself, this is the medication, this is the medication, this is the medication. So once I got off the medication, they went away. But that's a very, very scary feeling when you think that and it sounds like a good idea. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm weird about the medication because I know it helps a lot of people, and I was on ADHD medication. It didn't have terrible side effects with me, but I also didn't feel like I was myself, and the creativity was gone. Like I didn't get the excitement. I didn't get new ideas. And for anyone who's done CliftonStrengths, my number one Clifton strength is ideation, meaning I love getting ideas. I love having those ideas. I love the adrenaline rush of when I get a new idea and that's all I want to do and that's all I want to focus on. And for those with ADHD, there's another side to it. It's not just being distracted all the time. There's something called hyperfocus, where when you get an idea and it's good enough and you love it and you find this passion for it, that's all you want to work on. And you have no concept of time and you just work straight until it's done. No food, no eating, no sleeping. That's hyperfocus. And I weirdly love that. And the book that I read earlier in 2018, Faster Than Normal by Peter Shankman, he talks a lot about ADHD and working with that hyperfocus to get work done. And I love doing that. And that was one thing that the medication took away from me, was that hyperfocus. And I would sit there and do my kind of drolling day job and be just meh about pretty much everything. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. But I kind of missed that.
I missed that That's exactly what I'm missing. I never thought of it that way, but that's exactly what I'm missing, because there'll be times when I'll come down here and I'm like, okay, I want to do this. And I'll just come down here in the morning at the crack of dawn. I can't wait to get down here. And I get in here and I start doing stuff. And the next thing I know, I look up and it's 11 o'clock at night and I haven't moved. And, I'm in all of a sudden I'm like, okay, that's fine. Lately, it's a chore to get down here. So by the time I get down here, start at like 6 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I can't take any more of this. And, I go back upstairs and I'm just numb, completely numb. So this is what I'm fighting through right now. Now so then you do comes first. The chicken is the sugar addiction problem I'm having right now due to the meh. And maybe I'm trying to fire something up in the brain, or is my body telling me that you need something to kind of raise your mood? I'm not sure.
And we know that sugar is a quick fix for us. It's not a good fix, but it's a quick fix. It works quickly. It makes you happy for those pretty much as soon as you get that sugar in your system.
Well, I'm going to the doctor's tomorrow. Just a regular doctor. I just want to get a checkup and make sure everything else physically is fine. And then we'll work on the mental.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring that up to your regular doctor. Mark brings it up when he has his sort of sad seasonal affective disorder. He brings that up to his regular doctor.
Yeah. So that's my week.
Yeah, it's a weird week. It's also for us, we're on the East Coast of the U.S. and it's still winter. It's going to be winter forever, it feels like. We're in the last few weeks of winter where it's like, this will never end. I don't know why I even have t-shirts. They are pointless. I will be wearing sweaters and sweatshirts and long pants and large socks for the rest of my life. And that's how winter feels like up here. In Canada, I'm sure it's even longer.
The other day, it snowed 5 inches here. And I had to go out and clear my truck off. And I got wet and I was cold. And it was like 2 degrees Celsius here, because I talked to Sam in Canada. So they have the Celsius thing. So I always go, all right, let's talk in Celsius. And as I was telling her what a miserable day I had, she was laughing and mocking me at the same time, because was like negative 40 degrees there. And with the wind chill factor, it was like negative 60 degrees Celsius. I mean, I think that's when molecules stop moving. No, actually, I think it's like negative 200 and something, to be quite honest with you. But it was crazy.
Yeah.
About how cold it is there.
Yeah, I honestly think that's also why they put Valentine's Day in February. I know it's the birthday of Saint Valentine, but I think it's also kind of something to pep you up, to make you thankful for who you have around you, who you love. I think maybe there's sort of an underlying reason. Maybe it's just a calendar. I don't know. I like to be positive about these sort of things, of just like, we need this. We need this sort of day of love, a day to move our perspective from the weather and how miserable we are to actually people that we love who keep us warm via love.
Okay. Lisa's in the chat right now. She says, right now it's negative 40 degrees Celsius in Saskatoon.
Whew.
Negative 40 degrees. That's not even fun. I wouldn't even leave the house. It's horrible. All right. Well, you know what time it is.
Okay.
I love that so much. I do.
Yeah. Winning Wednesday. Jessica managed not to eat cookies for breakfast today. 2+ years out from VSG, and the struggle is real. That's amazing.
Alondra lost 5 pounds this week. Whoops.
Yay.
Hold on. Wait a minute. See, I'm off my game.
Yeah. Choo-choo.
Alondra, I lost 5 pounds this week. I noticed a decrease in appetite, and I'm like, thank God, because I can stuff my face till no end.
Yay!
Where's my wrong mouse?
Erica says, new high on the rowing machine, level 10. Tylenol is definitely in my future.
The rowing machine. But you know the nice thing about the rowing machine? It works everything.
Yeah.
It works all the muscles.
Yep. We have one. Mark's on it for like 5 minutes a day, but then he's sweating and out of breath, panting, because it really does work everything.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Brittany says, today is the day I start with my online trainer.
Woohoo!
Exciting to see what this month, I was going to say month, can teach me about food and fitness. That's great. It's great if you can to get somebody to help you out, to hold you accountable, to make you do things when I don't want to. Yeah.
And welcome, Brittany. We have little symbols in our Facebook group that pop up when people are new members. So welcome. She has a little hand waving. We have Jason, also a new member, but he's been listening for a while. You can recognize him from our weigh-in music. He's down 5 pounds, probably stress related with his oldest being sick, but we're still glad you're down 5 pounds, and we hope your oldest feels better.
Give him a Juliet says, doing my physical therapy and trying to increase steps daily. 2 week post-op with 2 weeks post-op with new knee. I would love to know how you're doing with that. Yeah, congratulations. I got to tell us. I'm going to tell a story.
Yeah.
So I need 2 knees, and I've needed them for years. And I used to play poker in a league with a guy who used to be a biker, and he was a really bad dude. He was but he was the nicest guy when he was your friend. I would never want to be on the other side of him. So he comes to the poker game, and he's walking with a cane. Like, hey, what's happening? He goes, oh, I just had my knees replaced. And I said, really? I said, how was that? He goes, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been shot, stabbed, beaten unconscious. This is the worst pain I've ever felt.
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, well, couldn't you sugarcoat it? He goes, yeah, the first week, he said, I cried like a baby.
I'm sure that's awful.
I know. So, Juliet, congratulations, and we're pulling for you. So, I'm glad your new knee is working out for you.
Kelly, also a new member, still logging her food. Serious personal victory. That's great. That is so hard to just log your food every time you eat. I think that kept me on a diet longer than the actual logging of my food to see what's healthy. It was more like, I don't feel like logging this. I'm just not going to eat it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I've been doing a lot of cooking here.
That's the thing. If you're cooking, I don't want to log the cooking because it's all new stuff. It's not like Taco Bell where you could just throw it in. Oh, I have something to tell you about Wendy's, by the way. But I'll tell you after the way.
Wendy's? Okay.
Yeah. Remind me to tell you about Wendy's when we're done.
All right. Elaine says, gave away some clothes that are now too big. Hold on. And I have no intention of being able to wear them again. That is great. Yes.
Yes. That's so wonderful. I've started putting on sweaters. And sweaters are a thing where I like bulky sweaters and I like them big. But then there comes a point where they get too big and frumpy and look really bad. And no matter how comfortable they are, because they get more comfortable. So you have to look in a mirror with sweaters to make sure like, oh my gosh, now this sweater is so comfortable. And I look in a mirror and I look like a potato sack, like really like a potato sack. And it had a cowl neck. So the cowl neck just turned into like this drooping thing. And I was like, oh gosh. This sweater is so comfortable, though. And I had to fold it up and do the Marie Kondo, thanking it for its years of service, keeping me comfortable, remembering all the times I had wearing that sweater and being like, but you fit much better when I was 40 pounds heavier. I got to let you go.
So did you say, I love big sweaters and I cannot lie, but when they get frumpy, got to say goodbye?
Yes. Brendan got a new morning routine going, made it to the gym by 5 a.m. every day last week, on track for this week as well. Not many other people there at that time, much easier to do the exercises I want and get home again. That is so fantastic, Brendan. Congratulations.
Yeah, because it is the truth. When I used to go to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, there wasn't that many people there. You could get in and get out. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, that is a good thing to do if you can get up that early.
Yeah.
I'm not a morning person. I can't jump up and start exercising.
No, and we have gyms that say they're 24 hours, except all of them are not 24 hours on Fridays and Saturdays. The 2 days that I would actually like to go to a 24-hour gym because Mark's home and I can go late at night when the kids are in bed and they close at something like 6. Like, really?
Yeah, what happened to the 24 hours?
I know. They still say 24 hours because they're 24 hours on weekdays, but...
Yeah, it's not fair. Not fair.
Not fair.
Elizabeth said, mixed feelings last week, down 2.5 pounds this week. Well, that's good.
Yay. Ingrid did another week of over 30,000 steps. Yeah.
Wow. Brandy said, gained 3 pounds this week. I ate out a lot and had a lot of soda in doing so. And there was less activity than before this week, going to get myself back on track. There you go. That's a winning Wednesday. Just get back on the wagon again.
Get back on track. That's so important. Deborah snowed in most of the week and didn't use it as an excuse to eat like an asshole. And she even asked, can I have an Emily Doo-Doo? So you can have a live Emily Doo-Doo. Doo-Doo.
There we go. That's amazing. I love that one. That might be my winning week. That might be my winning yearly right there. And Deborah says, my scale numbers are slowly creeping down and my food choices are getting better.
That's fantastic. Doo-Doo.
All right. So there are winning Wednesday. Tell me about your Wendy's story.
Wendy's. Okay. So one of my clients for editing, she was an Olympic medalist, 3-time Olympic medalist. And her first job was at Wendy's, and she still eats at Wendy's. And she said, the food at Wendy's is fine. I'm an Olympian, and I am perfectly happy eating at Wendy's. So now I know Wendy's, good fast food. If an Olympian is telling me that it's good fast food, I'll take it. She did say she doesn't eat at Subway, though, and she worked there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now, isn't that weird? Because Subway's supposed to be the more healthier choice.
I don't think it is because all of their meats are turkey-based and they all kind of have a weird taste to them after a while. Because I really used to like Subway and now I'm just like, everything tastes a little off. I don't know. But we have a really good sub place by us. It's called DeBella's. It's in a few different states and they are delicious. I mean, if Mark ever suggested Subway, I'd be like, no, we're going to DeBella's and getting a delicious sub sandwich.
Well, you know what I did find 2 weeks ago? A little thing called DoorDash.
Oh, no.
DoorDash is amazing. Well, here for me, what I do if I go to a sub place, I just get the sub and I don't eat the roll. I take the roll off and I just eat the interior part of it. Like last night when we were having when I was recording last night, my cousin records with me and he brings dinner. So he come down and we have a cheesesteak with mushrooms, peppers, and onions, and no roll. It's in a bowl. So we just mix a little mayonnaise in there, and it's really a good meal. My problem is you can't go high fat, high sugar.
Yeah.
That's a no-no. That is a no-no. And the reason I know that is because...
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time for the weigh-in.
The weigh-in.
The weigh-in.
The weigh-in. Another thing I did this week was install a voice synthesizer.
Oh my gosh, please stop. You must stop that. I'm going to have nightmares now. My co-host turned into a monster.
So this week, since it's a even week, I get to go and I get to tell you that I gained 3 pounds this week. And I got on the scale this morning. I was like, oh. So, and then I'm having problems with my back. So everything was very shaky today, but I did get a weight where I could come down here with. And I know exactly what's wrong. I know I got to get off the sugar.
Yeah.
And and I know that I can do that. And I'm not sure why I wasn't. I wish I had an answer for that. And this is the reason why I am the way that I am and how I fall off the wagon. But this stupid podcast is the that makes me come
And you
back.
say that lovingly.
Right. I come back every week and step on a scale and say, okay, all right, knucklehead, let's get back to it because this is nowhere. You're going to start putting weight back on again. And let's evaluate this and see what is going on. One thing that I did do this week, and actually Sam's been doing this too. Last week's guest, Harriet, she has that meditation on her website, and it's amazing. Like I put that on to go to sleep with, and that thing knocks me out like a rock. It's her voice, and then what she talks about, and then you got to visualize. I don't even know what happens at the end. So if a bell goes off and I start clucking like a chicken, then I know I was hypnotized. So we'll see what happens.
So again, like I said, it's Shark Week. Shark Week hit me pretty bad, but Shark Week does pretty much the same thing to me every month. I'm up 2 right now. I'm sure it'll come back down. So for anyone in the Facebook right now, John's up 3, I'm up 2. This was not a great week for us.
Well, you have Shark Week.
I have Shark Week. The thing with Shark Week, and I really like that I've been doing intermittent fasting since the end of March of last year. So at this point, eating within my window is not even questionable for me. It's just every day, eat inside my window. That's all I have to do. I know that to maintain, whenever I get to that weight where I'm finally at a point, oh my gosh, can you imagine getting to a point where you're like, all right, I'm at my goal weight. I don't want to lose any more weight. I'm done. I did this. Getting to that maintaining stage, I know that all I need to do is stay inside my window.
And everything will work out.
Everything will work out. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, this week is just going to be staying off sugar and going back to just eating clean again. Staying away from fast food, staying away from all that other nonsense.
Did you look into Harriet's sugar busting course?
I have not. I have to go back in there and snoop around a little bit.
Yeah. She has a lot of stuff there, and she has like beet sugar cravings course, something like that. That's available.
I didn't know the beets was that big of a deal. I didn't know they were so loaded with sugar like they are.
Oh, really?
Are they? Or maybe I'm wrong about that.
Oh, I meant beet as in like you're going to
beet sugar.
Beet
I think
sugar,
beets have a lot of sugar in them for some crazy reason. All right. So
maybe.
All right. So I made a mistake there. So it's beets with a yes.
Yes.
Never mind. I got it. I'm lost. This whole week I've been lost.
I think we need some grounding this week and we'll get through Valentine's Day and then we'll kind of.
The days are getting longer here, which is nice. The other day I looked outside, it was 6:00 and it was still light here. So I'm like, hey, that's a good thing. So pretty soon, the days will be getting longer and I think we'll be getting in and it'll start to warm up here. I don't know about in Saskatoon, but here it'll start warming up.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. All right. So if you would like to join us in our Facebook group where we have a ton of fun, go to hate2wait.com/Facebook. And next week, we will be back with more stories. John will be off the sugar a week. It should take me a week to get off the sugar.
Are we going to see keto flu, John?
No, hopefully not. No.
Hopefully not. No.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Because it's not that I'm going 100% low carb.
Yeah.
I'm not eating certain things, but I'm eating more vegetables. I'm adding a little bit of fruit like apples. Maybe that's why because I started adding fruit, then all of a sudden the sugar cravings came back. I never thought of that.
Oh.
But I've added apples to my diet and sweet potatoes. Mm-hmm. But I've been, no more pizza, no more Chinese food, no more Taco Bell, that kind of stuff.
Get your water. I'll tell you to get your water because that helps. That really does help keep you full. And I think that's what helps keep me in my window during Shark Week is because I know I need water. And especially during Shark Week, I need water. So I try to get extra. And sometimes it's like 6:00 and I realize I haven't gotten enough. And so I drink a lot of water at 6:00 and then you feel kind of uncomfortable. Like inside you, it
sloshes.
Yeah.
It actually does slosh.
Yeah.
Like there's a bucket of water in there. So doesn't that make you run to the bathroom all night long? You can't sleep?
Yeah, not all night long. It'll be like once, but usually I'm fine. And I go right back to sleep, so it never really bothers me. Plus, the 2 times I was pregnant, I did that. I would wake up at the middle of the night every single night for both of those 9 months. So I weirdly got used to going to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Well, wait, as you get older, it happens when you don't drink waters.
I know.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be back next week.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who came by and watched us live.
Bye.